Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gannon, alongside my partner, Jack McNicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you don't have the chance, go check out our website, justsayingfootball.com. Follow us on Instagram at JustSayItNoGWJS for article and video updates. Sunday 1 p.m. matchups. That feels so great to say.
Yeah,
let's just jump.
Lineup set.
I know, right? Like, get the lineup set. It feels so weird to be saying that. It honestly feels like forever since we've had some football. Yeah. Let's jump right into it, Jack. We got Jacksonville Jaguars heading over to Houston, taking on the Texans. What are your thoughts on that one?
Oh, man, this is going to be, kind of a bottom of the barrel matchup to start the weekend, two division rivals, but both teams, not looking super hot coming in. This Jaguars offense could be something interesting. Trevor Lawrence coming in, James Robinson, we know now is the starter. But outside of that, I think that the Texans are kind of figuring it out here week one. I don't see too much of a bright side for them. Lost a lot of players, a lot of controversy kind of going on with the team right now. I think it's going to be a tough home matchup for them. So I'm going Jags.
Absolutely. Tyrod Taylor's getting the start on that one. Deshaun Watson's on the field issues. He's going to be a healthy scratch at the first week. Looks like it's going to be the entire season. Not a lot of stars on both sides of the balls currently on this roster. They're definitely in a full rebuild. But, hey, a lot of Trevor Lawrence week one. That will be a lot of fun. Number one overall pick. Get to show us what he can do at the pro level. Jaguars are in, I still think, for a long season. He's not going to be winning as many games as he did in college.
Totally.
So enjoy this first week. It's going to be good for him to get a nice little taste of what the NFL is like that's not preseason related. But moving on, we got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on your favorite team, Jack, the Washington football team. What you got?
Oh, man. Big offense, big defense, man. We got the Chargers offense that we're expecting to be, probably a top 10 offense this year with Justin Herbert, knowing he's going in for a full offseason, having full training camp. We're going to see what he got to do last year. Both these teams were 7-9, but, Washington wound up getting to the playoffs, having a good matchup with Tampa. Now the Chargers, they didn't get to the playoffs last year because of some one possession games. They're going to have to get it all back, but they got Derwin James back, Joey Bosa. I'm excited for this Los Angeles defense, this whole team. We love the Chargers here on this show, but Washington's had some interesting stuff too, man.
Yeah, I like Washington. I don't think we can really sleep on their offense entirely. Everyone loves Fitzmagic. He's always making plays left and right. I thought Logan Thomas, their tight end, really came into his own late in the season. Went 17 receptions for 670 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's not a bad season. We all know what Antonio Gibson can do. We all know what Terry McLaurin can do. Then they add in Curtis Samuel, who they can really use all over the field. And this offense is going to be much better than what we saw last year, much more consistent, which is a huge leap from where they were. And that defense, like you mentioned, is amazing. All that being said, I'm a Chargers guy. And I'm going with the Chargers in this game. I love Justin Herbert. I think he's going to do great in year 2. I think we only are going to get to see more from him. Austin Eckler is fully healthy. Came out and said he's ready for this season. So I'm all in on the Chargers week 1. I think they're going to take down Washington.
Cool. I'm looking for a little Fitzmagic week 1. I think that he's going to just show up with Terry McLaurin this week. I think it's going to be shocking what Antonio Gibson's going to be able to show us this year. But, I think this Washington defense is going to be a little too disruptive for Herbert this week. So I'm going with Washington. But I just want to say this next matchup we're going over, it could be my favorite matchup of the entire weekend. The Seahawks, Colts. There are a lot of players to love in this game.
Oh, there are tons. I mean, first of all, Jamal Adams, he's signed for the long run. He's locked in there in Seattle. And they just signed Dwayne Brown. So Russell Wilson has some protection on the offensive line. Yeah. But huge news for the Colts. Carson Wentz might be able to play in this game. Was activated from the COVID list. Quentin Nelson looks like he might be able to play in this game. Eric Fisher got activated from the COVID list, looking like he's going to play in this game. So they're getting all their starters back. That being said, if Wentz doesn't play, it's going to be Jacob Eason's game. Sam Ellinger is on the IR, which means that he's not going to be the starting quarterback week 1 if Wentz isn't around, looking like Jacob Eason. I expect them to rely heavily on their run game, quite honestly, if Eason isn't at quarterback. With a handful of passes here and there, but to really rely on what Jonathan Taylor can do out of the backfield and what your offensive line is good at, which is making really great holes for the running back to run through.
Yeah, and Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack coming back, Naeem Hines, Jordan Wilkins, they have a cast back there to support him, with short passes, with, long runs. I think that you're right. They're going to have to rely on that, especially because on the other side of the ball, there's a guy, Russell Wilson, who is definitely looking to score some points on Sunday. And, that's going to be some tough stuff for them to keep it up when they're only using their running game. So the Colts may have to rely on that type of tough defense of theirs, man, which we saw be top 3 in everything last year.
Dude, Russell Wilson, first 4 weeks of the season is always amazing. Like he sets paces that you just never see.
Yeah.
But all that being said, dude, I'm just gonna be honest. I think the Colts are gonna win this. I think that they're just the more balanced team offensively and defensively. They have playmakers on all levels of the football. They can kind of do it all. The Colts are gonna be relying heavily on Paris Campbell and Michael Pittman. Everyone's expecting Pittman to come into that wide receiver one role. T.Y. Hilton is on the IR, so that could be a huge downside to this game when you're looking at the passing options they're going to have. That being said, I think running the ball, taking big chunks of time out for the Seahawks to really move the ball downfield, that's a method to win this game they can easily do and have done it.
Yeah, and I think that, it's like the opposite for Seattle for me, where it's like where I think that they're going to win this game because of their passing. I think that, the Colts defense is really strong on their front seven, and they have great, complimentary guys out in the secondary, and Kenny Moore is, coming into the league as, he's been a very, tough cornerback the last couple of years. But I really do think that DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett have a really big game in this one. And I think the Seahawks take this one in Indy.
Chris Carson also not a bad running back.
Not a bad running back. I actually really like him this year. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
If you haven't seen it, go check out his Instagram, watch one of his workouts. It's crazy. It's actually insane. I think he's ready for a big season. All right, but moving on. New York Jets taking on the Carolina Panthers. Sam Darnold, former number 3 pick for the Jets, now playing against the new Jets number 2 pick, Zach Wilson. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm interested in this one. I'm interested to see what Zach Wilson can do at this level. I think that he has some interesting receiving core with him. I like that Elijah Moore can, be able to stretch the field as a rookie. He'll be able to grow with Wilson. But, I really want to see what this Jets offense looks like. I know that they went in with Robert Saleh, who's a defensive coach. I really do want to see what this looks like outside of a, Todd Bowles or Adam Gase kind of offense, not Sam Darnold. I think that Wilson is a little bit more ready than Darnold was at the time, both raw prospects in a way. But, I think that the Panthers are really going to, keep this game at a high pace where Wilson's going to have to throw a lot.
I mean, also the Panthers got CMC back fully healthy.
Oh yeah,
one of the best running backs in football when he's fully healthy, man. So you can't sleep on that. I think Sam Darnold has the weapons now that everyone wants him to have. So it's really kind of a make or break year for him. I think at this point, if all of it doesn't come together, you got your Terrence Marshall Jr., the rookie wide receiver. I think he's going to have a solid season. I know you've talked a little bit about him. DJ Moore has already proven himself. Robbie Anderson, who had also a great year with Sam Darnold back with the Jets when they played together. Absolutely. Now you factor in CMC. I only expect this offense to be really good. Saleh's going to, Saleh came in with a defense I thought was going to be solid for the Jets. Few big injuries for them. That was tough to really see this offseason, although they do have CJ Mosley back, which is going to be fantastic for them. But oh god, where is he? Lawson went down. Vinny Curry and Carl Lawson. Those are the two guys that went down for them. That's huge hits to their defensive line, out for the season. So all that being said, I'm going to go with the Panthers. They're at home. Sam Darnold wants to play against his former team. They get to go up against a rookie again. You got fans back, always going to be a factor. I think that you got a lot going for you in favor of the Panthers, and I'll ride that wave. And this offense is going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll ride the wave with you, buddy. I'm going with Carolina on this one too. I think that, the factor for me is the high scoring pace of the Panthers is going to really force Zach Wilson to throw. But I think the defense of the Panthers is going to make him uncomfortable. I think that Jeremy Chin flying out there in the secondary is going to cause some problems. I think Brian Burns and Derek Brown are going to get all over him. JC Horn is going to, have a good transitional matchup here where he's really able to, go up against some of these receivers. As long as I believe he's not, matched up on Jamison Crowder, I think he's going to be definitely a dominant force. So I'm going with Carolina in this one.
I like that. I agree with you, as you've seen. All right, moving on. My Minnesota Vikings taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. This game is going to be in Cincinnati. What are your thoughts on this one?
I'm interested, man. I'm interested to see what your team is going to look like. Justin Jefferson, our guy, year 2. Adam Thielen, a lot of people are questioning him after he had a monster touchdown-wise season last year. Unfortunately, Irv Smith will be out, but I do think that will present an opportunity for Jack Conklin to, kind of step into that Kyle Rudolph, what Irv Smith was going to step into spot where he can be a goal line guy. And Dalvin, super excited about Dalvin in every aspect of this. I think that we're definitely going to have a couple of streaks this year about him. But what I love is that both of these teams have, a lot of weapons. and they have a lot of questions going into this year. They both want to be playoff teams in tough divisions, and they both have interesting quarterback things. Kirk Cousins, we know that he's not, he's at risk of maybe not starting some games. Joe Burrow, we don't know what he's going to look like after the ACL. I'm very interested to also see these defenses that have added to themselves this offseason.
Yeah, obviously I'm going to pick the Vikings this one. I just trust that we can beat the young team with Mike Zimmer and what we have talent wise on the offense. I am looking forward to seeing our defense finally in action. We're revamp. I've mentioned it a bunch of times on here. I'm not going to chew off anyone's ear too much. But getting Hunter back, getting Dalvin Tomlinson and free agency, Pierce back from the COVID exempt list, things like this are really going to help out our team. And then you factor in Patrick Peterson, Bashad Beelan, these veterans are going to help out our young secondary as well, and Harrison Smith locked up. I think offensively, we know what the Vikings are going to do. It's going to run through Dalvin Cook. That being said, I am really excited to see the Bengals. I think they have a really young, talented offense. I really like what Joe Burrow has shown us last year. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. I do think he's going to look good from this ACL. Obviously, week 1 is going to be a little bit different. I don't think that's going to make or break his season at all. Excited to see Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. This offense is really solid. It's going to be a good test for this Vikings team. All that being said, I just got to point out there are tons of LSU stars in this one. There's Burrow, there's Jefferson, there's Peterson, there's Hunter, there's Chase. So all this being said, Jack, just gotta ask you a quick question before we go on to the next game. Who think's gonna have more receiving yards of these two amazing LSU wide receivers back in college, Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase?
I'm going with your guy. I'm going with Justin Jefferson. I think he's trying to make a statement this season. He was somebody that came in last year. He didn't get the rookie of the year. He broke a lot of rookie records. I think Jamar, what we've seen isn't going to translate to what exactly his career is going to be. I think he just needs to, kind of transition a little bit. But the first game, absolutely, I think the Bengals secondary presents a perfect opportunity for Justin Jefferson to go off.
Yeah, I love it. All right, moving on. Arizona Cardinals taking on the Titans. Julio Jones, now a Titan. Can't believe it. It's weird. We're in number 2.
Weird.
Really weird. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think that, he kind of is going to slip in, to where Corey Davis was last year, but he's going to be a lot more effective. One thing that we've been able to see is that there's going to be a high-powered offense, a lot of running, not a lot, in Atlanta, that's a lot of passing. So here it's going to be a lot of running. What I'm looking for in Tennessee this year is, another playoff berth. They've been so good at that the last couple of years, trying to make deeper and deeper playoff runs. And, I think Julio is that piece that can, kind of make or break them in this division with the Colts, where it's really just them and the Colts. But this is going to be a tough test with Arizona. This is going to be a high-paced offense. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and these guys are looking to, make a statement this year. They're trying to compete. They got J.J. Watt in the offseason. They went out, they got Chase Edmonds as their guy now with James Conner backing him up from Pittsburgh. I think that this is going to be a very interesting matchup. A lot of play actions, a lot of, heavy man coverage on the defense. This is going to be, a very classic, football matchup.
No, absolutely. And, you get a guy like J.J. Watt in the hopes to stop these really high-powered running offenses.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a great first test for them. I'm 50-50 on both these teams' defenses as a whole. I think they have some key position missing, mainly in the secondary, that I'm a little worried about for both of them in the long run for their season. I don't think Bud Dupree is going to fix the sack issues that we saw from Tennessee. I feel like they need to add a few more pieces. And then while I like the front seven of the Cardinals, outside of Budda Baker, that secondary, a little hit and miss. So I am going to take the Titans in this one. I'm going to trust what that veteran offense can really get done. Ryan Tannehill has been an unsung great quarterback since 2019 when he got to step in as a starter. So I'm going to trust them and what they've been able to do these last few seasons, making the playoffs. And I think they're going to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals on this one. I really like Kyler Murray this year, and I think that it's going to be just a year for him to kind of make a statement. We got to see a little bit of that last year, but he was kind of banged up. I would love to see fully healthy Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins going the whole year. I think that with AJ Green there as well, has some reliability, but there are a lot of injury questions on this Arizona Cardinal team. But week 1, I'm going to go right with them. I think that they have the supporting cast and the people around him to go get this done. That's just my thing. I think that the Cardinals are, here to stay this year and trying to get the playoff berth.
I respect it. I totally get that. Moving on, we got the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Lions. DeAndre Swift is going to be ready for week 1. That's great for fantasy owners, me, and it's great for Lions fans everywhere. I just got to start out the gate, man. I don't think this is the Lions' year. I think that they're in a rebuild mode. You know, they're missing Kenny Galladay, Matthew Stafford, these two guys for their offense that have been big staples to them in the long run. They moved to Jared Goff, which one can argue is a downgrade for Matthew Stafford. And I don't think this offense has the weapons to really support Jared Goff, both offensively or defensively, for this team to find a lot of wins. 49ers are coming in fully healthy again. This defense is great. This offense is great. We could see some Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo throughout the entire season. It could be interesting. There could be a two-quarterback system that we've seen in the NFL under Kyle Shanahan. But either way, I think the 49ers are just too powerful for this Lions team that is in a rebuilding mode for sure.
Yeah, one thing the Niners taught us last year is no matter how many people are injured, no matter what quarterbacks out there, running backs, it's going to be Kyle Shanahan's scheme where he's trying to score 30 points a game. And this Lions, defense, this is right now just too many questions. Presents such a good opportunity for the San Francisco 49ers to go in there, attack them with their running game and go get it done. I'm going with the 49ers on this one.
Love it. Moving on, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Two playoff teams from last year. Pittsburgh Steelers might not be a playoff team this year. Bills should make the playoffs. Not going to mess around with that one. Thoughts on this one?
Love this. Two huge powered offenses. Josh Allen coming to the league, he was, compared a lot to Big Ben. Just two big guys, hard to take down, can extend plays. And they both this year have some great weapons around them. Like, Najee Harris is going to be fantastic for Pittsburgh, kind of give them that Le'Veon Bell. Sean's talked about him so much in the offseason about his ability to, get volume in games, be able to, just kind of change an offense. And that's kind of what Big Ben needs. James Conner was in and out. He was dealing with a lot of committees. I think it's going to look a lot different. On Buffalo, I think it's going to be all Josh Allen. I don't think that their run game is there yet. I don't think that their defense is, scary, intimidating defense yet, but I think that they are on their way on both sides of the ball to being top 10 and everything. Steelers going to be tough for me. I mean, the Steelers, I think that they're getting a little bit of, they're getting a tough opportunity here, but basically, it's going to be, I think it's going to be the Bills show. I like them too much this year to say no to them in week one.
Yep, I got to lock in the Bills with you. I think I like to see Big Ben comfortable in that new offense system. That's always good and positive. Najee Harris is going to be an absolute beast. I think Josh Allen could be another MVP season for him, like caliber type season for him, where he could be in contention again. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is going to be fantastic. I think. I don't like the TJ Watt contract talks. They've turned ugly. Reports have come out saying, and if he's a healthy scratch for week one, I think the defense takes a big step back with no TJ Watt in that lineup. But even if he is in, I just think the Bills are just more ready across the board on their team. They're coming off of a really, really sour AFC championship loss. They're not going to lose week one at home. Against the Steelers.
I'm just interested in one thing. I want your opinion on this, and we haven't done this yet on the show, but we like to do this every week. But a cornerback wide receiver matchup. Do you think that Juju and Tre'Davious White, who do you think has the advantage there?
I'm going to go with Tre'Davious White. I don't know what to make of the Steelers offensive line. They had a lot of changes this offseason. And preseason's preseason, regular season, like playoffs is playoffs.
Yeah.
Everything is totally different. And so you got to take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt at times. Yeah. So I think that while the Steelers offensive line looked good in the preseason, it's going to be very different week one potentially. So that's my huge worrisome. And I think that if Big Ben is under pressure, if they're not able to have a successful run game, I don't see why Juju Smith is going to somehow be tearing up Tre'Davious White out of nowhere. So got to lean Tre'Davious White there.
Yeah. And I mean, on the other side of the ball, one guy that, hurt me in fantasy last year by losing me a championship, but he's going to have a great year. I think, I just want to say on the record, I think Stephon Diggs could be, just one of the top. He could prove himself as, a top 3 wide receiver again, this year with an extra game, the pace him and Josh Allen went on last year. Scary for a defense, even like Pittsburgh. That's why I got to take Buffalo on this.
Agreed. Still love them. All right. Our last 1 p.m. game of the day. Philadelphia Eagles head into Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Kyle Pitts is about to be unleashed, and it's the first time we're seeing Julio Jones not in a Falcons jersey. I know we mentioned that earlier, but it's still weird. So it's the Calvin Ridley show. Jack, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it will be the Calvin Ridley show this year, my friend. I'll tell you that. He's gonna run wild, without Julio there. I was just talking about how Julio kind of, takes all of Corey Davis's targets that he left in Tennessee. Calvin Ridley, he got Kyle Pitts on the other side of the ball now, but it's still Calvin Ridley's team here. He's going to be that Atlanta wide receiver. This franchise loves to have, that one cornerstone receiver and build another one up. I don't know about, both of these teams, how I feel about them yet. I don't like either of their running games until I'm going to see them on the field. I don't know what these defenses are going to look like. They both had to improve a lot last year. And Atlanta playing at home, it's always interesting. I always like them at home. I think Philly's going to have kind of a tough time in this one. But I do want to see Jalen Hurts. I'm very excited for him. I think that I'm not going to talk about him enough after the Eagles wind up killing the Giants this year at home, as they usually do. But Jalen Hurts deserves his respect. I think that watching him and Matt Ryan, two totally different quarterbacks, but both with huge arms. Matt Ryan doesn't run as much, but Jalen Hurts still has that arm. They're going to be airing it out in Philadelphia this season. So I'm excited for that. I think this is going to be a pretty high scoring matchup.
I think it definitely has a high potential, definitely to be a high scoring matchup. I mean, like you said, question marks on this defense could lead to the potential for high scoring offenses, especially when you have Calvin Ridley. And I think Devontae Smith is going to be very, very solid. Yeah. I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan. I think he's going to be really good. I love what he's able to do mobility wise, love what he's able to do in the passing game. So I'm excited to see him as a full-time starter now this upcoming season. I don't know who to lean with in this game. My gut says Atlanta for some reason. I just feel like they after everything that happened with the Hawks this season, they're going to get some of that magic with them. And the first game without Julio Jones officially on the roster, they're going to get a dub in front of their fans.
That would be awesome. And do you think at all, that Kyle Pitts can, at the beginning, you think we'll probably have, Hayden Hurst on the edge. Do you think that like Kyle Pitts presents a matchup for anybody in Philly? Like, can anybody in Philly stop that guy? We've seen him this preseason get a lot of separation. Calvin's probably going to draw, Darius Slay and be a little covered. Do you think that, they're, I think honestly the tight ends and overall in this game, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert, Hayden Hurst, Kyle Pitts. It's a very underrated game where they have two tight end offenses and they pass a lot. This is going to be an interesting one.
These are two. Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, these are actually two really great tight end matchups. They both have two. It's actually kind of crazy. Although I do think Kyle Pitts has the advantage over all of them just because of his speed and size.
And strength.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. But he's just so much faster than your average tight end, even faster than like your Kittles. And I think he's a little bit faster than Kelsey even, which is just impressive because Kelsey, what makes him so dangerous is his speed. Yeah. So you really seen that Kyle Pitts. I think it's going to create some mismatches, especially if they have him lining up to not really actually block, but then go out for a pass. And I think it's going to be helpful for them, honestly. I'm curious to see what he's going to do.
Absolutely. I think this has a lot of intrigue because these are two teams when you just see them on paper, you could be like, oh, they could be playoff teams, but they could slip their way into the playoffs more. Like their divisions got weaker around them. And it's kind of interesting to see if they're powerhouses in this game.
I believe you're skipping which team you're picking. I've already said Falcons. You gotta.
No,
I've been dancing around it.
I would go. I mean, I want to go with the Falcons in this one. I think that they have a high-paced offense. I like that. I like Calvin Ridley. I'm telling you, I think Calvin Ridley is going to have his best season this year just because he has a lot to prove and he has this like city on his back. I love that.
Yep, absolutely. I agree with you. All right, that's all the time that we have. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Be prepared for a 425 episode after this for all those late afternoon games.
Yeah, check out the late afternoon games and check us always out at Just Saying Football on YouTube. We got all our videos up on there every week during the season. And we have justsayingfootball.com for one space for you to check them all out, as well as our articles. Check out our Instagram for all your updates. Just Saying, no GWJS. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.